Hello, this is Chris McElliott Park. This is a recording for democracy, or really anybody who would like to integrate some voice lines to AI War 2. So, what I've already done is recorded a brief set of yeah, I've recorded a brief set of test things here in Audacity, and these are not ready to use. So I'm going to play these back, and you'll see what's wrong with them. Hello, this is take 1. Take 2. This is me saying some sort of voice line. Take. Okay, so you can notice a couple of different things. One is there's an underlying hum in here. Two, you can hear that these are not normalized. You can also see that they're not normalized. So we've got the stereo tracks here. This is in Audacity. And what we need to do is isolate each chunk and get it processed. Now, I took several different takes in here. I also did a fake one over here where there's too long of a pause. Take 3. This is me insulting the AI. Right, so that's got a bad pause. Now I could fix that somewhere else, or I could just come in here and delete it. And this is me insulting the AI. You know, and it's like, well, that doesn't sound quite the way I wanted, so this is me insulting the AI. You know, so my inflection's a little bit off there, but it doesn't really matter. So at this point, first thing we want to do is get a noise sample. So we need some dead air in here. That's important. And then let's see if I remember how to do this in this one. So we want to do a noise filter, I think. I usually do this in Audition. Noise reduction, I bet is what it is. Yep. So under noise reduction, you get a noise profile. That's why you need this big set of space. And this little clicky thing there is also helpful. So get noise profile. That is what just happened. And then yeah. That's weird. Get noise profile, and then what? All right, so Control R is the shortcut here. All right, I'm going to pause for a second and figure this out. Okay, quick YouTube video later and understand what's going on. It's kind of weird though. So basically, you do a noise reduction, you get a Control R, get a print of it there, then select everything, and then Control R again, and it reduces it. So at this point, take 2. This is me saying some sort of voice line. So at this point, all that stuff has been stripped out. Now, you'll notice there's nothing that's really too peaky in here, but this is a bit higher than the rest. I'm done now. So I can remove this because it's probably going to mess with the normalization. So basically the normalization makes whatever's the highest on here and whatever's the lowest go all the way to the top, which is what we want. So I'm going to select the whole thing again. So that was what I did wrong before, is I didn't select the whole thing when I hit noise reduction the second time. I'm going to choose Normalize. All these defaults are fine. Okay. Hello, this is take 1. Take 2. This is me saying some sort of voice line. Okay, So when I hear this one, this sounds pretty good. So I can do another noise print capture. Oopsies. Wait, Control R? Wait, what's going on? Oh, I thought it was... Oh, let's just repeat. Okay, so normalize, noise reduction, there's no... Huh. All right. All right, select it all. Okay, I don't think there's anything that really removed.
This is me saying some sort of voice line.
So one of the reasons why I'm showing it like this with a bunch of lines in here at once is because you can save yourself a lot of time when you're fixing stuff up by just going through once. If you don't have anything that's super peaky, like you didn't clap your hands, or there's not like a smash of something got dropped or whatever, then you can, and there's a consistent audio background. Let's say you're talking for 10 minutes, doing a bunch of takes for a bunch of different lines. You can just put that all in one big long file, process it all at once. The noise reduction and stuff takes a lot longer than it does for this, 24-second clip. But processing wise, it doesn't take you longer. So once you're done with that, then at that point you can start splitting it out. So as you save, this is saving as a Audacity project, and you can save older versions if you need the originals in case you accidentally are kind of messing up the quality with some of the edits. But this sounds okay, so I'm just going to save over. Plus, it's not real. I'm not going to keep it. So the next thing is to make some sort of radio effect. And so with that, let's see, Vocoder. The other thing we could do is a compressor. Let's see, so.
Hello, this is take 1. Take 2.
It's hard to do a compressor in here. There are some we'll just do a vocoder.
Hello, this is take 1.
All right, that's too much. So there are some. Usually I use a plugin for this, or I use some stuff in Audition, which I don't know where it is in Audacity, but essentially if you can Google like how to make something sound like it's over radio in Audacity. There are also plugins, some of which are free. Anything that's a VST or VST3 should be able to be used in Audacity. So if you find a free one that lets you mess with your voice, then you can do that. So that's another reason to keep it all in one file to start with, is you can do it all in once. There are batch processing things where you can set up like a little process that you run through repeatedly, that you kind of record what you do to one file and then apply that to like 100 files if you wanted to. So you can do that as well. Whatever it is that you do, make sure you make notes of what you're doing, because if you have one set of takes that's almost perfect and you get it just the way you want, you've tweaked everything perfectly, and then you go, there's this, I need a couple more lines actually, it turns out, and then you go back and you record those lines and they sound great, but then you can't recreate whatever it was that you did the first time, then those are always going to sound off. I've done this to myself before, so try not to do that. So at this point now, I can go ahead and cut this. I can do a new file is one option, and then just paste it in.
This is me saying some sort of voice line.
And so then I've got a line here. In order to get it out, you need to export it for let's see, what am I using right now? Suddenly not remembering. So I'm going to show you the next step. Oops, wrong thing. So you go under AIW2 Ultra, AIW2 Music, and hit open with the Unity editor. This is version 2020.3.21 right now. I'm gonna pause while this opens. Okay, so this opened up, and it turns out I'm saving these as MP3s. They are a little bit more compressed than OGG files and slightly less lossy sometimes. So in this particular case, we're going to do export as MP3, and then we're going to want to find a spot for this. So what I can do is I can go in and I can hit show and explore on one of these things. So I've got the voice section here under AIW2 music assets. And so I get to make a new folder, Chris test. I'm not going to keep this, obviously. Chris test here. Find that one. Test one. Okay. So now that's imported in here, and so we've got Chris test here, and we've got test one.
This is me saying some sort of voice line.
So I can click here and see that it's properly handled. Now, what I need to do, though, in order to have this play, is I need to have an actual voice prefab. And so I'm going to select an existing one and hit Control D, which duplicates it. I'm going to copy this, just drag it into my new folder. For each set of voice lines that you have, you're going to need one of these things. And so I'm just going to select this here. And then it's got a bunch of references to existing stuff. I'm going to zero that out. You can hit the little lock icon up here to make it so that this inspector stays clicked on this no matter what else you select. So if I had like 5 voice lines that would play randomly for this, that'd be important. What I can then do is hit drag this and drag it into the clips here and drag it on the top. You can't drag it in down here. And now we've got a voice group that has a list of clips in there. And I thought it had other properties we could edit, but I guess it doesn't. At this point, it's already set up to be an asset bundle, AIW2 voice. And so what I would do is hit just say, or I can hit save all assets anyway. And I can hit build music asset bundle. And then this is going to do an import and a build of some stuff. But it's going to build music and it's going to build the voice stuff as well. Now, when it builds, it's not going to put it in a very useful spot. It's going to put it, well, it is. It's going to put it in a working bundles location though. And so that's not going to be immediately accessible. If you try and test this new asset immediately, it's going to be missing. So what you're going to have to do is once it builds, then you're going to, okay, so that finished building. Then once it builds, so these go in global bundles. And so you'll see them here. You can manually copy it over if you want to. AIW2 voice is the one of relevance right now. But instead, there's a batch script that says move asset bundles. And what this does is just copies that all over. And then now if I look in the actual spot for testing in SVN, there's this here. Now I can check that my stuff is in here by looking at the manifest file, not that one, this one. And you can just open that in whatever text editor. And you can then do a search for test in this particular case. So there is an asset listed in here with that path. Now you'll notice the path is the same as this right here. And the bundle is the AI War 2 voice. So XML time. So at this point, we have a file. It's been integrated. This would go out to everybody else. So let's look for a different one. Chief Advisor Lisa, and why not? So I've got an, there is an XML AI W2 XML solution, which you can open. It makes it easier to find stuff, but you don't have to. So there's an SFX items here, which has pretty much everything. Here's the AI taunts. So one of the reasons why these sub items matter in there is because there's chat text that can show up with that. So for instance, now I've got a Chris test here. So what I would do is I would say, just copy this, and I come and get, all right, so this is in the AOR2 voice. That's going to be the same as all the rest of them right there. So I don't really need to copy that. Then this, here's my thing. I can paste it in there. You don't have to lowercase it, but if you want to, you can hit Control U to lowercase it. So now there's a bunch of settings and so forth. Min time between plays of this group. So how frequently can this group play in general? Not more frequently than every 30 seconds. Fair. For each specific sub item, right now there's only one, but how frequently can that specific one play? Well, not more frequently than every 5 minutes. So since there's one item, this would take place, be not more than every 5 minutes, period. So what bus are we going to use? So this is going to be the voice of something. So probably in this case, it would be the voice AI, because this is like a voice taunt thing. We don't want, it's not an alert. We don't want voice routine. If we're doing AI taunts or anything like that, this is probably what we would want. I need to give this a unique name. So I would say something like Chris test pointless, whatever. And then there's all the different sub items starting with 0. Is it funny? Yes or no? The funny ones get scrubbed out by some people. So now I come back in here. What does this even say?
This is me saying some sort of voice line.
All right. So this is me saying some sort of voice line. Chat message from Narrator. Chat message color. Let's see. Let's choose something kind of pleasant for the narrator. I mean, actually in the blues. All right. So, all right, our friendly neighborhood narrator. So 4AB0FF you could use. For most of the stuff you're working on, recording right now, it's not going to have a chat message necessarily. So you could omit all of this stuff. It's things for like the, but then again, I mean, yeah, if you're recording something that doesn't need to actually show a chat message, like we've got all of these different things up here, like the routine voice stuff. These don't even list their sub items. So if you're doing a taunt, then listing the sub item and having those things is good. If you've got voices that are being played just as a group, there are some number of voices in here. It's more than one, but it's but we don't care how many because we don't print a line or anything. So if this was for something like the encyclopedia, then you can just skip this whole thing. You can also skip this here, and this is just like the encyclopedia line, and that's it. And this min time between plays of group, I think 30 seconds is pretty decent anyway. You don't want it to repeat if you keep coming back in there. So those would be the different ways of doing it. Later, there's some other XML that we need to set up to actually make Chris test pointless get triggered, but that's going to be based on either some sort of AI taunt in the code somewhere else, or it's going to be like we would link this to a specific encyclopedia entry, that sort of thing. So that mechanism doesn't really exist yet, but once we start having some voice lines, then we can certainly link that up. And that's pretty much the process. So there'd be one extra step to link the actual sound effect item at the end, but that's it. So I can easily clean this up by just removing these specific items and and now it's gone. So that's easy enough too. All right, thanks for watching.